papers in international and national reputed journals, which is Scopus Indexed. Ma'am has been in the editorial board for various journals, Board of Studies Council, and she has a rich academic experience from various colleges in Coimbatore for teaching UG as well as PG students. We welcome you, ma'am. The session is yours. It will be presented by Dr. N. Alamelumangai. Ma'am has completed PhD from Anna University, and her area of interest includes image processing, AI, and networking. Ma'am has published 15 plus papers in international and national journals, which is Scopus Indexed. Ma'am has been working as an editorial board for various journals, Board of Studies Council. She has rich academic experience from various colleges in Coimbatore for teaching UG and PG levels. We welcome you, ma'am. The session is yours.
Thank you. Not able to move.
Not clear, ma'am.
Post.
Yes, ma'am.
Is my PPT visible?
Yes, ma'am. Your PPT is visible, ma'am.
Okay. My slides are visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Start?
Yes, ma'am. You can go ahead.
Good afternoon, audience. I am Dr. Alamelumangai, working in the Department of Computer Science, Avinashilingam University of Home Science and Higher Education Program in Coimbatore. Today, I would like to introduce you to super artificial intelligence in healthcare. Already, this session webinars have given you a lot of idea about artificial intelligence. I'm going to just talk about super artificial intelligence, which has come up during this COVID pandemic season last 2 years. Super artificial intelligence is used in healthcare to detect the genetic codes, power robots, and maximizing the efficiency of our brains. It is surpassing the human intelligence by manifesting the cognitive skills and developing its skills of its own. Our human-like capabilities, which is being conscious, being desires, emotions, all these can be done by a super AI. We need robots which can enforce all these activities. Systems which quickly understand, analyze, and process the circumstances are needed for decision making, problem solving, and explore more beyond than our human intelligence. Now, let us see what are the areas or what are the things which we use in artificial intelligence. In AI, we have seen about machine learning. In machine learning, the neural networks, decision trees, and all these instant-based algorithms. These are some of these concepts or techniques which are used in healthcare as well. In machine learning, as far as machine learning is concerned, neural networks plays a very important role in that. Perceptrons, feed-forward, Boltzmann network, the CNN, the convolution neural networks, all these are, as of now, being used in the super AI. Then comes the decision trees. which is more important for analyzing, which is very, very important in healthcare as well. Random forest and the classification and regression tree methods. Machine learning and deep learning are very developed in the past few years. These algorithms are more and more advanced than the previous ones which we have seen in the last couple of years. Superintelligence accelerates the technologies like space research, development of medicines, academics, and others. How superintelligence is used in healthcare. A common use of artificial intelligence uses the NLP, which is classifying the clinical documentation and analyzing the structures of the patients, the structural nodes of the patients, and giving insight to the quality and improving the methods and in which how a treatment can be given to a patient. Initially, we are more concerned about keeping well. A patient has to be well, and for that nowadays we are using lots of devices, our watches, smart watches, and we have many devices which are there on our body itself. These devices are now helping us to keep us well. Our mobile phones, Android phones, which have apps like Google Fit, these apps help us or tell us what is our current BP or how many steps we have gone, how much effort has been taken, how many calories has been burnt. So all these things can be monitored. Early detection. These early detection helps in identifying any possible circumstances like of risk of having a heart attack. This can be done through the help of these our devices, handheld devices. Then in helping the diagnosis, for diagnosing the diseases, you can use this super AI. Later, for decision making, we can use this AI. Beyond that, for treatment and end of life care, and after that, once the treatment is complete, we can have the data stored for research use. And then, based on the research, whatever feedback which we get, those data can be used for training our own artificial intelligence robots, our super intelligent robots. Only with the trained robot, it can convert to a super artificial intelligent robot. So the more the number of cases, the more the number of new activities or newly found responses that robot will be able to adapt. So the more training, the more super artificial intelligence is of that particular robot. So a roadmap of the artificial intelligence is that robotic surgery can be done with the help of minimum help of the doctors. It is not that the AI is just replacing the human intervention. AI helps to aid the maximum work which can be done by the doctors or the surgeons. Nowadays, we have the AI-assisted robot hands which can replace certain tasks like traction or knot tying, normally which happens during operations. That is normally we call it as stitching and all those things. So those things can be done with the help of a robot. A surgeon is not needed. It imitates a surgeon's hands. These are repetitive or iterative jobs which limit the action of the surgeons. The environment in which the robot works can be different in like independent level or an difficult level. The degree of its autonomousity, like whether the robot can act independently or it has to act with the intervention of the doctor or a trained person, It depends on the system to system, or depends on the client, the patient's condition. Normally, the robots have 3D, 4D, and multi-dimensional view of the surgeries happening, and all these data are stored to the cloud. So the cloud contains all the data. As I mentioned previously, the data is used for training the robot itself, or it can be used to train the new systems which are developed, or algorithms which are being developed. Here are some steps of which I would like to mention, which normally occur during an operation or when a robot is used in a surgery. If it's an untrained robot, it uses the machine learning algorithms and some skills, and then we train the robot. So the robots which are used are or should be trained. How the training is done? The training is done based on the previous data or the previous operations, those skills, whatever surgeon has. It observes the surgeon's skills or his capacity or his activities, how he does that operation or how he manipulates the situations. Like during an operation, the surgeon reacts whenever that patient reacts. So all those things are observed by the robot. So that training is given to the robot. So the robot takes up all the activities which are done by the surgeon, or even these activities can be videos. So the surgical videos can be fed to the robots. Some simulations also can be given to the robots. Then beyond that, the programs which our experts write, which tell or inform or even guide the robots to do these activities as like a surgeon, which means our robots are going to replace our surgeons. So these activities are performed, whatever the activities the doctor, the surgeons perform, each and every action of theirs is fed into the or trained into the robots. And then we have the reinforcement techniques, which means when an unwanted situation occurs, then the robots have to act accordingly. So for that as well, our training is being given to the robot through the algorithms, and using some special skills, the training occurs for the robot. What are the accessories of a robot? Usually, the robot has a camera which acts like our eye, and then haptic sensor, which is like our hands or touch, which acts like a replacement for our hands. We have the position sensors, and it has the actual arms and tools which you need to perform the operation, like an operation, like moving our fingers, holding the scissors, a knife during a surgery. So these are some of the parts of a robo which a particular robo has, and this robo uses or should use all these parts based on the training given in the as per the previous data available. So only when the training is available, the robot will be able to move its arms or its eyes or its senses and then perform the operation. Here is the environment of the environment is nothing but our patient on whom we have to perform the operation or the surgery. So here I am talking about the robot which is going to be independent or semi-independent and perform the surgery, replacing our doctor or the surgeon. Next we will see the area where our artificial intelligence is prone and it's surviving and it's going to have a massive improvement, that is the clinical trials. The clinical trials, all of us must have heard about drug trials and all those things. So clinical trials is also like when a activity is performed on the particular patient. How does he or how do they react? So that is a clinical trial. Whenever a drug is given, how they act, or whenever an operation is performed, or medicine is given, how they perform, how they act, how they do. So all those comes under clinical trials. A research protocol, it is a research protocol which contains the details like the background, the objectives, the design, the statistical considerations, and many things are taken into account. So all that is protocol development. You can have this super AI in protocol development. In the protocol development, you have a clinical outcome assessment which tells or which informs how a patient feels or how he is behaving. All that can be recorded or noted as our inputs for the next activity or the next trial. Okay. In the patient outcome, it is observed. Then the observer report outcome is measured, clinical reported outcome is measured, and the performance outcome is also measured. So using all these, a protocol that is developed for the clinical trials. These protocol development uses real world data, which is again a hot topic which is going on. AI in healthcare itself is a very hot topic and of more discussion and of more research area. Here, the doctors or the biotechnicians or the pharmaceutical companies are tremendously putting their efforts to improve the health of all of us around the globe. For this, the outcome assessment is a very important data which is going to be stored in our records to train our systems, to train our algorithms and train our robots. And these are our details which we are going to have to act as an input for treating the next patient or the other patients based on the previous assessments. These can be stored as a big data or real data. The data relating to this patient status, the delivery, the healthcare routines are all stored electronically and they are stored in the cloud. Only when these details are available on the cloud, it is accessible to the people all over or wherever the research is happening or to all these robots. So whenever a robot is performing, it has the availability of details of the latest activities it can perform or it can act or have details and it can perform accordingly. Any situation is already fed into it, it can react. The patient's details generated are stored and in health monitoring devices. Our patients' findings as well as the new insights. Like the new insights include how much the patient has paid his hospital bill so that he can claim his insurance. All those facts like how much insurance was paid, the full amount or the partial amount, his hospital room bills. So all those details are also stored in these clinical trial details. We have lots of robots to monitor these works or do these tasks. After COVID, this has become mandatory for everyone all over to have these details very transparent because this provides the evidence. This evidence acts as a potential to accelerate and enhance the validity of all the people, that is the doctors and as well as these robots working all over around the globe as a chain to enable large volumes of data and produce outcomes and ensure the health of everyone who's undergoing the treatment and have their records as well for future analysis. The optimization of these clinical trials is also very important. It is not just that trials are noted, but the optimized results also have to be noted because this enhances the prediction of the robots. The robots are the ones which are going to act and replace our doctors. So the clinical details, these predictive details, the predictions which a robot performs, prediction which a robot does on a situation will be better and enhanced only if it has all the details. For this, we use the NLP, the natural language process, robotic process automations, and many more tools which help the robot, the super AI robot, to act and work accordingly. Next, we'll see how the clinical diagnosis we use our super AIs. The benefits of having our super AI is it speeds our research and cuts down our data time, helps to find the data sources. As I was telling, only when the data are available on the cloud from different angles or different perspectives, everywhere the data should be transparent and has to be accessible. Only then it will be able to, we will be able to, or the robot will be able to collect it. So we'll have an detailed or very large database from where we can take the data and use this data to have our predictions. So our artificial intelligence has machine learning and a deep learning. Deep learning helps us to learn more about the volumes of data which are available. Now, the databases are not just data which we store. It is like instant data which is being generated from everywhere, every source. So we can have data from our mobile phone or from the handheld devices or from our devices everywhere. Every device has become a cloud connected device. It is not just we take the data from somewhere and we type it and feed it into a database. It is every data, every software. There is a software in every device which reads the facts that are needed, and then it immediately connects to the cloud and stores all the data. From there, everything is accessed. Next, we move on to precision mining. In precision medicine, we are looking into the healthcare of individuals. We have these mathematical algorithms which will help us to address the day-to-day challenges which we are facing. Diseases which are complex and which were genetic, all these can be attended. The mutations which are occurring, as of now, we are all going through the COVID. So the mutations of the coronavirus has also been stored. The data is being generated and it is stored from everywhere. It is not that the patients who are available or the people who are infected are just generating the data. Everyone who has a device and a software or is a super AI, they are all generating the details, the mutations which are being performed by the virus, and how immune we are, how our immune system is reacting to this virus, and all these things can be stored. So the data is not just the past data which was available. Now whatever is available is a real-time data. These real-time data helps us to rely, experience, and judge the situations and solve our skills, and with our whatever tools that are available or the limited tools that are available. Again, I would mention that COVID has been spread across the world, where the remote resources were very, very limited, and even there are we were able to decide and act because of transparency and all the data which is available. These technologies, genomic, biotechnology, wearable sensors, and artificial intelligence, all are different directions but help us to create the volumes of data which we need. These volumes of data which we get from all the sources are used as analytics and are the base for the foundation of precision medicine. Instead of developing the treatment for all the diseases, precaution or precision in the medicine is needed in nowadays or in the present situations. This is a major shift in the area of medicine or healthcare. The shift is towards prevention and personalization and precision of our healthcare. There are lots of programs and tools and which are available, but the key technology is that do every one of us practice it? There is nothing precise in medicine without the AI. Everywhere there is a AI or a super AI involved in our precision medicine. You take DeepMind, which is developed by Google. It stores our records, our health records, for faster and better access. Then we have IBM Watson's program, which helps the oncologist. It's an evidence for the treatment options which are available for various diseases. Then we have the medical sieve. It is an assistance which helps in analytical reasoning capabilities and arrange the clinical knowledge and healthcare. Then we have Zord Prisma Public, which helps in handling the billing section of the hospitals, which is basically a Swedish company. Then we have the Deep Genomics, which helps in identifying the patterns of all the diseases or the genetic information, the mutations, the linkages. Then we have Ebola viruses, which was used to Atomwise, which is used against our Ebola virus. All these help us to aid in safeguarding our health and making wise decisions at the right time. These AI have to be precise and as well as affordable and available to all people, all the needy people at the right time, which is more important, on right time. So the science transforms the fiction into reality with the help of this AI. Next, we'll be seeing about the drug discovery and where our AI fits in. It is that our AI has shifted from bench to the bedsides. It is aiding in rational designing of the drugs, helps in discovery making and taking the structure of the drugs, evolving it, and then screening all the designs using the bioactivity, toxicity, and physical chemical properties, their predictions, their reactions. So storing all these information, and finally when the pharmaceutical product is developed, when you aid it in to the suitable experience, monitor them and modify and develop the processes, ensure that it is compliant free. Once it is done, a clinical trial is done. The clinical trial, the number of patient dropouts, the monitoring of the trial, the subjects which are selected have to be designed. Through all this, our AI helps to monitor and conduct all these work. Once it is done, the Q&A and the Q&C are done, where the process parameters are analyzed, and so that there is a good production is available. The drug has to be produced in large numbers. That is the ultimate of the drug discovery. And then the pharmaceutical finally manufactures it. And in the manufacturing industry, it is an automated industry where our AI and robots are used. You can have a personalized manufacturing also, which correlates to the errors or any parameters which are being set or being altered during the phase of alterations, during the phase of the manufacturing. So, in our drug discovery, it aids us in our super AI, helps us in decision making, the therapy which is needed for the patients, personalizing the medicines, and then managing the data, designing our molecule structures. All these can be done. Our ML algorithms, along with this, is easy to use and interface and create an analytical roadmap to the competitors, stakeholders. Applications of these AI is a challenger which can scale the growth, diversity, and uncertainty of data. The challenges are the scale, the growth, and the diversity and the uncertainty. Uncertainty is the reactions of the patients whenever or wherever the robots are or our programs are replaced. The quantitative structure, the relationships, the computation models help us to predict the large numbers of all these parameters which are being used. Various predictive models, the similarity structures of the models, the process generation, the application approaches, and the chemical structures of the compounds, all these can be used. For this, we use our techniques, the nearest neighborhood classifier, SVM machines, the deep neural networks, the vector spaces, to find out the toxicity of the medicines. All this can be done. These are some of the pharmacy organizations and the works which are being done. Drug discovery and development, the clinical trials based on the machine learning. The 3D structures of the molecules are being stored. The reasoning behind the immuno-oncologies, the targets, the combination of the therapies, the combination of the medicines, the patients, selection of the patients, gene-based therapies, segmenting and analysis, clinical development of new treatments, to discover and develop the specific treatments for various particular diseases or the common diseases. Many quantitative structure property relationships and workflows have been used. The AN artificial neural network models, the graph kernels, the kernel-rich based models help to predict the association of the compounds. Web applications like ChemMapper are all used to help us in the bonding between the chemicals and their compounds. Deep affinity is an interpretable model which uses CNN machine learning techniques. To avoid the toxic effects of these compounds, you can have VictoSSA in drug discovery. The target for the successful treatment lies in the type of or the number of trials which have been conducted, selective targeting of the disease, and then predicting the structure of the target protein, design or to develop and use the drug, the medicine model. AI assists in all these areas. The 3D protein structure is kept in the compound on the target along the safety considerations for the synthesis or the production of the chemicals. Super intelligent technologies across the fields, across these various fields, help in process and simulate and decision make, solve the problems of the humans. So these are some of the areas where our super intelligent programs and our robots are working, and this is some of my web references. Any questions? We come to the end of the session.
Any queries from the participant side? Thank you, ma'am, for the session that you had given overview related to super artificial intelligence as well as healthcare. On behalf of the organizing committee, WAIMS 2022, we heartily thank you, ma'am, for the session. Thank you. And an announcement to the participants. Feedback link will be posted after Valedictory. So you need to fill the feedback link for the 3 sessions. Based on that, certificates will be issued. Until kindly participants be online for the Valedictory.